These are some of the first images that we're getting out of Iran, the aftermath to a deadly plane crash just outside Tehran. On that plane, 63 Canadians who have lost their lives. The plane from Ukraine International Airlines, took off early this morning in terms of local time and climbed to about 8,000 feet before it suddenly disappeared. And the reports are a big burst of flame and a violent crash which has scattered debris over a considerable area. You're looking at these initial pictures afterward, and it was immediately clear to those who responded there would be no survivors. So a tremendous tragedy outside of Tehran today, with Canadians killed by the dozens. In fact, this is believed to be the largest loss of Canadian life in an aviation disaster since the Air India bombing in 1985. We're bringing you a formal reaction to the situation. We don't have any Global Affairs Canada confirmation at this point. We do have condolences from Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister and from the NDP leader federally, Jagmeet Singh. But we are awaiting any official word from Ottawa and bringing you all other new details on this story as we get it. The airlines have been responding not to the downing or the crash of this plane, but certainly to where this has happened. A part of the world where there is always tension, but really rarely higher than it is right now in terms of relations between Iran and the United States. And Scott is here with more on that. Scott, there are airlines who are responding to what's going on in Iran, and they are making substantial changes to their flight plans.
Yeah, they are indeed. And this is going to affect travel worldwide. A lot of airspace, a lot of planes fly through the Iranian-Iraqi territory. And so we're expecting 500 flights on a daily basis to be affected by this, affecting up to 15,000 passengers, adding anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes to travel time to airlines that are trying to skirt this area and avoid it. Starting with the particulars, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration is banning American carriers from flying in the area of Iraq, Iranian airspace, and also the Persian Gulf airspace in general. Following that, Paris-based Air France and also Dutch carrier KLM, both saying that they are suspending all flights over Iran and Iraq airspace indefinitely. Australia carrier Qantas is following suit. Their flight from London to Perth, they say that they have to now carry less passengers, carry more fuel to avoid that area, adding potentially up to about an hour extra travel time. We've got Malaysian Air, Singapore Airlines also saying the same thing, that they are going to be avoiding this area until further notice. So a lot of passengers, a lot of flights do pass through this very large airspace that are now going to have to be diverted, Heather, to find out another outcome as far as what is happening and what might the next step be here.
Scott, I just am drawn to these pictures as you're talking about this, images from inside the airport.
Right.
And you can see the reaction from people as they were anticipating the arrival of this plane and the reaction to learn it had gone down. We can tell you that Ukraine has offered assistance in the investigation, which will be led by Iran. It's also, according to the president, organizing special planes to fly there to take back the bodies of the people who have been killed, as long as Iran agrees to all of this. And because it is Iran, a country with very delicate relations with so much of the world, this is adding politics to all of the response to this,
yes, yeah.
Not just diplomatically and with governments, but even with the company that made the plane, and that is Boeing.
And there's going to be further confusion here. You're right. Under international law, Iran is going to be the lead investigator, and they call the shots. And in this instance here, because there is so much hostility now between Iran and the U.S., it is unclear whether Boeing is going to have any representation on the ground, as the manufacturer usually does. So that's yet to play out. So far, Boeing, this is not the MAX. This is a 737, but it's not the MAX 8. This plane is only a few years old. This is what Boeing is saying. They're still trying to figure out what happened here at that 8,000-foot level, but saying that this is a tragic event, and our heartfelt thoughts are with the crew, passengers, and their families. We're in contact with the airline customer and stand by them in this difficult time. We're ready to assist in any way needed, but lots of questions, as you mentioned, Heather, going forward as to what role Boeing can play fixing this up. The stock, of course, is down, and lots of worry about this means for the 737 in general.
Well, it's also interesting as far as Boeing goes. Iran has said it will not return the black boxes to Boeing for the ongoing investigation, because Boeing is that American manufacturer.